Hello everyone, Jak Syn here on behalf of TourFiend.com and Future Daze, and today we're sitting with Javi Nunez of Club Hemlock and AKA Screen Printing and Apparel in San Diego. How you doing today, Javi?
Doing good, man.
That's great to hear. I know right now things are kind of crazy, but you know, we're making the best we can, right?
We are. I can still see your face, man, so that makes me happy.
And seeing your face makes me happy too. Thank you for taking this time today to sit with us, and we're going to ask you a couple of questions and see where it goes from here. Are you ready?
All set.
All right, let's do this. What are your top 3 moments DJing and throwing events?
There's a lot of them, but there's a few that kind of stand out, and I'd like to preface this by saying I wouldn't be able to pull these events off if it weren't for the help of Robin and Jamie. So it's been a pleasure doing these events with them. That being said, a few standout moments. One that comes to mind is when I turned the entire club into a giant cloud by leaving the fog machine on continuous. I hit the button, put my head down, worked on some stuff. About a minute later, I look up and I can barely see right in front of me. And then I check my phone to a bunch of missed calls and text messages saying turn the fog off because the bartenders can't do their job properly. So that was fun. I think I pissed off a few people, but for the most part, everyone thought it was pretty cool. That one stands out. The LA Invades San Diego event, when we had Dirty Horror play and Dave and Jen Batts came down. And that one's special to me because Dave and Jen have done a lot and put on great events for decades. So to be able to share the DJ booth with them, joke around, talk, discuss music, that was a good moment. It's very memorable to me. And another one would be having a hand in bringing Ex Voto down. That's a band that I'm very fond of, and to have them down in San Diego on a Sunday was very special. I just remember being in there, looking around, play, the fog, all the fans in there. It was a nice moment to be able to know that I had a little part in making that happen. So that's a few of them that stand out for me. I mean, there's many, but that's a couple of the highlights, I'll say.
Those are some pretty great standout moments. I know I wasn't there when the fog machine debacle happened, but I was there for the LA Invade San Diego event, and that was really, really an awesome time because you really got to see a lot of, you got to see the LA crowd and the San Diego crowd meshing really well together. So with the Ex Voto show, you were mentioning that was on a Sunday. So how was that event? How was it being able to coordinate that event and having a band that you really admire being able to perform there?
It was a bit scary. It was more early on, and especially being on a Sunday, that was what kind of had my nerves going a little bit, but it all came together. The fans came out and they had a great reception and they loved the show. So that in itself made it a success for me.
That's great. I'm so happy to hear that. What would you say is your favorite Hemlock event that you worked on?
My favorite events would probably be the Death Crux and Frozen Charlotte's event. And this one stands out to me because that's when I released my first issue of a zine that I've been working on. That's this little guy right here. Little shameless plug. And why that's important to me is because if you know me, you know I like to make a lot of things, from t-shirts to posters. Don't mind getting my hands dirty. And with this zine, I did not know anything about putting together a zine. Kind of walked in blindly and thought that it might be cool to do a little 16, 20-page zine just for fun and to challenge myself. And it ended up turning into about 50 or 60 pages, a little book, and it took a lot out of me. It's a lot of work. Thank you for Vaughn Avakian and DJ Winter Mysteria for helping put this together. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys. But bringing these little zines to the event, in the beginning of the night, I was telling myself I never want to do this again. It was too much work, too much stress. a lot of late nights, and throughout the event, just seeing the response and the reception of everyone that got one, it kind of just gave me a charge and reinvigorated me a bit to think that, you know, people actually really appreciate this. So I will be releasing a few more, and that made it, that with the amazing bands, I mean, Death Crux and Frozen Charlottes just blew everyone away. It all came together perfectly to make that event stand out a little bit more than all the other ones.
Well, that's freaking awesome. I know I have a copy of your Last Rites Zine, and I love it. And it's such a great collection of memories and stories and pictures of events that have been going on in your city of San Diego for such a long time. So earlier you were talking about how it was a lot of late nights. The process behind creating the Last Rites Zine, how was it? Like, what was the process behind that?
At first, it was a bit scary. I mean, it was me staring at a blank computer screen, trying to figure out how I can start this. But I started thinking about, you know, people of interest, people that have been in the scene doing amazing things, from bands, artists, promoters, DJs, and just slowly started reaching out and asking if people would be interested in being interviewed. And I didn't know what response I would get back. I thought, you know, I'll just kind of overshoot and maybe I'll get a, you know, 30% response, and that'll be good. But luckily, the response was overwhelming. And once I saw the content I needed, just slowly started putting it together. You know, there's no shortage of things to talk about when it comes to club nights, art, bands, DJs, especially in San Diego. Some very good momentum going. So I just decided to put all that together and really kind of capture something tangible for this time that you can look back years from now and say, hey man, I was there and it was actually pretty cool. So I think I somewhat hit that mark. So I think it was a success.
That's great. And to everybody out there, if you have the chance to get your hands on Last Rites or any one of the other issues, including the one that he's showing right now on the screen, if you guys can see that. Can they see that, Javi?
I think so.
That's great. And if, like I said, if you guys get a chance to check out this little zine here, get your hands on it. It is amazing. The content inside of it is great. And it really does show a collection of some great talent and some great artists that he has managed to compile. And the next time you're in San Diego and you're at a Hemlock event and the new issue is out, be sure to pick one up. What was the drive behind getting you into DJing and running your own events?
The drive behind it was to kind of bring something a little different to the San Diego landscape. You know, I wanted to be able to focus on music and bands that may not have been getting the recognition here that I believe they deserve, and not only giving them recognition, but when they come down here, to be able to give them the best reception that I possibly can. You know, so not just doing a show, but just trying to put as much as I can into it, and adding my own little style to it. You know, and I say that with a lot of the shirts and posters and merch that I do. If you know me, I make a lot of shit, a lot of t-shirts, a lot of posters, and just doing that kind of is almost in a sense become my signature and synonymous with the events that I do. And just that little touch, I believe, makes it just that much more special for the bands, the people involved, and the crowd to be able to have, you know, a takeaway just to remember these events for many years to come. So I think I've somewhat accomplished that, but that's been my drive and my goal since the very first event.
You make some really amazing artwork. Everything that you do is very detailed and it has a meaning behind it. I know you design it a lot for your events and a lot of the other things that you work on. What is that like for you? Like when you come up with the piece, like do you visualize it in your head beforehand, or do you just kind of just go with it?
I'll think it out a bit, and I'll try and come up with some art that, you know, once you look at the flyer, you can kind of get a sense of what the event will be about. and I like to hand draw as much stuff as I can. I mean, let's say take a little DIY approach to it, draw out artwork, scan it, clean it up a bit, make all my posters by hand. And I like doing that. I feel like it's not done as much. I mean, it's easy to pull up an app on your phone, spit out a flyer in 5 minutes, throw it on, and call it a day. I like to have my art be a bit more personal to me, and just kind of take my time with it if I'm willing and able to. And I think it shows. I think people can kind of see that and know that a little bit more went into producing that graphic and that flyer than just throwing something up on an app really quick.
And it has a lot of those little nuances, and it's very detailed, and it's very purposeful, the things that you design. So, I mean, you being able to incorporate that into your events, it really gives it that personal touch that, not to say that a lot of other events don't have, but it goes a little bit deeper than certain things. What are you looking forward to accomplishing the most moving forward?
Moving forward, I would say really just kind of uniting and strengthening the community down here in San Diego. There's a lot of hardworking and driven individuals here. A lot of great nights. I mean, you have Ascension, you have Sabbath, Rituals, Catacomb, Blue Monday, Eternal Night. I can go on and on. There's people doing really great things. So I want that, if I can have a hand in growing that momentum and keeping San Diego relevant with this type of music and with these type of bands, then that would be a focus and accomplishment, in and of itself. And just to be able to kind of link up with like-minded and driven individuals, even if they're not from San Diego. Case in point, I would say Edgar and Carla Luna Negra out in Palm Springs are doing some amazing stuff and just working very hard, and they're passionate and they're driven. And when I see that, it kind of motivates me more, So just kind of working with people, growing the scene, keeping it positive, and just keeping the music alive.
That's very true. And what you were mentioning about Luna Negra, like, they're out in Palm Springs, and I think for them it was more like, if you don't have a scene, create a scene. You know what I mean?
And they did.
They did. Yes, they did. And, keeping, like you were talking about, keeping the scene relevant in San Diego, it's really thriving down there where you guys are at. It's really thriving a lot. I know every time I'm down there, like me and Evie are down there going to events, like going to your events, like we see this huge love for that huge love for the music and the huge love for family. Because it feels like family there. It feels like family that you visit every once in a while. Like you drop in and go, hey, I'm here. And it's like you just pick right back up where you left off.
It's a great feeling, It's a good, strong community. And yeah, like you said, you walk into an event and you just feel like you're home. And I think that's what it's all about, man.
And it's a great collection of, like I said, like artists, DJs, promoters, photographers. It's definitely something that if you guys out there, if you guys definitely want to check out next time, take a drive down to San Diego and experience the nightlife there, especially in the alternative community. It is really thriving. And I think that you guys will feel the same thing that we have felt, that sense of family, that sense of community there.
Thank you.
What positive message would you give your fans out there?
I would say to set goals, whether it's big or small. Set goals. I know a lot of times people like to say that, time is a factor that's holding them back from accomplishing what they want to, but that happens to be something that many of us have an abundance of, especially right now. So use it to your advantage. If you have a project, if you have something you want to learn, something you want to do, just little by little eliminate those excuses and get it done. Don't be afraid of failure. I failed many times, and I learned a lot more from my failures than I do from the few successes that I have. But stay focused, keep your mind sharp, keep the phone time to a minimal, keep the Netflix to a minimal, and work on some stuff. See where it goes.
That is very true. It's like we have a lot of distractions a lot of the time. And right now, we are in this time where I like to say it's the great pause. We're on a great pause right now. And we can do a lot of the things that we've wanted to do or been putting off for quite some time. So I think right now, you're right. We need to take advantage of that time that we've been given because, even though it is a bad situation that we are in, we have all, I think a lot of us have been given a gift, and that gift is time. And we just have to use that to our advantage, work for what we want, and like you said, set goals and accomplish them. It's little by little. It's these little things. Like once you get one goal, you write on the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. After we come out of all of this, we're going to be coming out to a new normal. And I think then we will see all of the amazing art, all the amazing music that people have had the time to create, or writing a book, or publishing a comic, or whatever they want to do. And to everybody out there, those are some wise words from Javi Nunez. So take those in, consider them, and make things happen for yourself. Dream it, build it, and let it grow. That's it.
Lots of water.
And lots of water. You got to stay very hydrated. Everybody's got to stay very hydrated. That's one of the things I try to impart on a lot of people too, is stay hydrated. So thank you so much for taking this time to sit with us today, Javi. I want to say thank you to everybody out there watching. Stay tuned because we have more videos on the way. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for Tour Fiend. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
Thank you, Jack. Say hello to Evie for me, and it's always a pleasure.